Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. For today I'm going to be showing you all 10 eyeshadow palettes that I would say are perfect for summertime. So if you want to see a whole bunch of beautiful summer eyeshadow palettes, then please stick around for today's video and make sure you are subscribed before leaving today. And let's go ahead and get into it. I made it my goal to have every single palette that I'm going to talk about on my eyes or face today, so I'm just so excited to show you like where I put the shadow. First palette, this isn't a ranking, it's just when I think of summer I'm like boom, Seahorse from Adept Cosmetics. Need I say more, you know what I mean? So this is a palette full of beautiful special shades, and I have the shade Long Snout on my inner corner. This palette, I don't reach for it often because I'm not someone who reaches for all shimmer palettes, but when I do, whenever I add this to some of my other palettes in combination, I love mixing palettes, obviously. I always love the look that I create, and now I'm like excited to have this basket out for just like summer inspiration. Whenever I don't know what to reach for the day, I'm just going to grab in one of these palettes, and I'm so excited. So definitely I recommend doing the same for you. If you're like, I want a little bitty stack of summer palettes that I can reach for, definitely try it out and see if it helps you out. So next, this is the Sun and the Sea palette from Beaute. I obviously like a little mermaid on the palette. The packaging is beautiful, I must say. So the color story, I feel like it's very repetitive. I have the shade Caribbean on my lower lash line. I know it's kind of covered up with some beautiful sparkle, but that was like the base for the lower lash line. And then I have the shade Sunbathe in my crease along with a lot of other stuff. But this palette, it's just so beautiful how it's like bronzy neutrals with some blues. Like that's the essence of summer for me, is a pop of blue and a neutral eye. And I love the iridescence in here. This is so beautiful. I know a lot of people weren't so excited about this one, and I get it because it is repetitive, but the formula, it is delicious. I love this palette so much. I love mermaids, and the fact that it's a mermaid on the packaging, I'm here for it. Next, I wanted to mention a Strawberry Moon from Ensley Reign Cosmetics. Y'all know I love this palette. This is the newer version. And guys, the way that this palette knocks my socks off every single time that I reach for these shimmers, they blow me away. The mattes are very out of my comfort zone, but every single time I use them, I love the look. So for today, what shade did I reach for? I used the shade Radiant, this beautiful peachy pink all over like the first third of my lid to give it a little bit of a fiery aspect to it. But this just honestly, it is such a beautiful palette full of special shades, and whenever I see this fun color story, it just makes me think of summer. So definitely, without a doubt, I had to mention a Strawberry Moon. I feel like so many of you love that one as well. Next, this is the Don't Be Jelly palette from Unearthly Cosmetics. Not even a big fan of blues, but honestly, there's something about the way that they created these other complementary colors, especially this beautiful purple. It just works. And honestly, this was one of the very first fun blue palettes that got me into even wanting to reach for blues unless I was filming. So today I have the shade Hydrospace all over my lid. It's a blue with like pink sparkles in there. I haven't reached for this that often just because this is like my summer basket, and I'm kind of getting more familiar with these palettes again, so I'm excited to reach for this all summer long. And like the packaging, it's just so fun, you know. Next, this one is the Into the Night palette from Glaminatrix Cosmetics. I feel like some wouldn't say this is summer, but every time I see it, these fun shades right here, this is a summer night palette because it's so sexy, but you get these fun pops. So I have worn this quite a few times on a date night during the summer last year, so I remember like those vibes. So when I think about that, it makes me think of this palette. I use the shade On the Rocks. This is my favorite shade in the palette, I must say. So, and then Happy Hour. I didn't use that today, but I did use On the Rocks. I feel like this formulation is just like a step up from what we typically see from Glaminatrix. It's just like a little bit more textured, a little bit more squishy. I just love this palette so much. It's so much fun. I love the fun neons in here. I love that it's cool tone, and honestly you can get very wearable looks with that palette as well. Next, this is from Odin's. This is the Sea Talk palette in collaboration with Lauren May Beauty. I really enjoy Lauren May Beauty. I love her fragrance channel mainly. That's where I watch her content the most now. I use the shade Dolphin Tail in my crease, and then I also use this beautiful shade Smoky Pearl all over the lid and just kind of like mix it with what we have going on. I love this palette. Neutrals and a pop of blue. say less, you know what I mean? So honestly, she did such an amazing job creating this color story with the cools, the warms, and actually my shimmers have aged beautifully. Can't say the same with all my other Odin's eye palettes, but this shimmer formula has stayed beautiful, so I love that for her and for all of us who bought the palette. It's just like she did something special with that one. Next, this is from Simply Posh Cosmetics. This is the Citrus Punch palette. I have this shade orange, no, Clementine on my, as like blush on top of another blush because I was like, what am I supposed to do? My face is full of product. So I topped on orange because I love an orangey moment. This is, honestly, is this like the most summer color story? Probably so. It is so fun. It just makes me think of a margarita. Every time I see this palette, I get inspired. It's so much fun. Very colorful, but there's always a time and place to reach for this palette. And they do have like an updated formula now. I have the old version, but I still really enjoy it. Let's see, next, this is from Gourmand Girls. This is in collaboration with Steph's Beauty Stash, the Nueva Vida palette. I love this color story. It's so fun. I do not reach for it all that often. I reached for it quite a lot in spring, but then I like took a break because I'm testing a ton of palettes. But I found myself really enjoying all the looks that I created with this, and I think that it is so fun for summer because there are two neons. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but Weekend Vibes and then the orange, these are so bright and beautiful. So this one right here is such a fun staple summer and spring palette in my collection. And yes, I kind of feel overwhelmed whenever I reach for it, but I like to use these in combination with some of my favorite neutral palettes. So, and this video is not to make you feel the need to go out and buy palettes. The whole point of this is to make you go look into your collection and see what summer palettes you can pull out and feel inspired to play with and create fun looks. Next, this is the Nomad Cosmetics. This is the Paradise Islands palette. Some of these palettes are probably discontinued. I'm so sorry, but I do not let that sway these videos that I do because, hey, even though they're discontinued, I have them. Some of y'all may have them, so pull them out and use them. But this palette is one of my first palettes I got from Nomad. I think Whistler Lodge was my very first palette that I ever bought from them. But I have the shade Beore as highlighter today. This, I honestly, like, I feel like I'm just going to keep this forever. I don't use this all the time. I honestly just use it, like, during the summer months. So, without a doubt, I had to pull out Paradise Islands. And, like, the packaging, it's so beautiful. Leave it to Nomad to always create beautiful packaging. So, number 10, this is kind of like cheating, but there's two palettes here, but they're from the same brand, and it was like the same collection. So, this is from Devinah Cosmetics. This is the Mystic Cove palette, and this one right here is the Sea of Shadows. Holy freaking moly. Mystic Cove is probably one of the most intense palettes ever. Honestly, like, probably the most special all-in-one palette in my collection. They are next level beautiful. Just all shimmer goodness, super shifty, sparkly, all the things. That's what you get with Mystic Cove and like the Little Mermaid tail. I like how it's dark and colorful. They did such an amazing job with this palette, and it's just so, like, I'm not even kidding, some of the most special shimmers in my collection out of all the different brands. Love it. 10 out of 10. Do I reach for it all the time? No, but I do like to pair this with my other palettes. I'm not trying to be repetitive, but I just want you to know, like, I don't typically do like all I typically don't do all shimmer looks. I like to mix it with like a bronzer or just some of my favorite mattes. I'll reach into a lot of my like Natasha Denona palettes and then pop into some of my indie singles. So next is the Sea of Shadows. I reach for Mystic Cove over this one just because this one has lots of blues in here. I forgot to tell you, for the Mystic Cove palette, I reach into, I don't know what the name of it is, but it's right here. I have that on like the inner part of my lower lash line. Stunning. And then for Sea of Shadows, I reach into this shade and it's on like the lower lash line on the outer part because I was like, where do I put it? I love this palette. I don't reach for all the time because it's very blue heavy, but these are more, they're not as textured as Mystic Cove, but still so beautiful. Well, my kiddos just woke up. It's super late, so I gotta go put her back to sleep. Please let me know some of your summer favorites wherever you are in the world. I hope you're doing well. I hope that you are healthy, happy, and safe. Stay beautiful. Bye, guys.